vice versa.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Backyard Peace Project, our weekly discussion where we come together and we talk about really uncomfortable things. Like, there's no other way to describe it. We come together, we talk about really tricky, complex, uncomfortable conversations because this is what we need to be doing now in this cancel culture where we're avoiding everybody that thinks differently to us. There's so much aggression towards people who think differently. So it's really an opportunity to unpack things, to get different perspectives. It looks like it might just be me and Paul today. So it's all divinely guided, especially with the topic I'm bringing in. So thank you for being here. So, Paul, I've had my heart trampled on this week really badly. And it came out of left field. It came from somebody that I kind of know that it's going to come, somebody that's in my life a lot. I've done a lot of work around this, and it really, really upset me to the point that when this exchange between me and this person happened, I went into like rage, which I'm not a particularly rageful person, but I was so mad and I was also so hurt and sad all at the same time. So I phoned my poor husband, who's already just got out of a cyclone where he's working and it's all a bit crazy. And I was just like, have you got the capacity for me to shout at you for 10 minutes? And he was like, yep. So we just went into that. And I just was like expressing all of my feelings of being incredibly hurt and incredibly angry at the way I've been treated because I really didn't feel like I deserved it. And it was all untrue anyway. So I was being attacked for something that didn't even happen.
Wow.
Okay. So that was like really interesting. And I'll tell you why I'm bringing it up, because we don't tend to share when we're in the chrysalis, right? We've had this conversation before where we go through a real tough time. We sort of batten down the hatches. We get through the tough time. And then we come out and go, oh, wait, I'm out the other side. I feel so great. And this is how I did it. Well, I feel like I'm in the chrysalis right now and I'm really tender. I'm really tearful. I feel really emotional. And I'm really juggling between my academic and my values, which is forgiveness, understanding, realizing where they come from, understanding why they behave the way they behave, understanding why I'm the easy target because I am very loving, I am very forgiving. So I'm like sort of balancing between that and also feeling really, really hurt, like to my core, very emotional, very raw, and wanting to protect myself. So it's so tricky. And like I help clients through this. And also, there's a disappointment in myself for expecting anything different because this has been a pattern throughout my whole life. And it's tough. And I did a TikTok this morning and I said, I'm not feeling very sparkly today. I'm not feeling very good today. As I'm going to be honest with you. And I said, I've really had my feelings hurt. And I said, in the context of what's happening in the world right now, this feels really insignificant and pathetic. But it has really rocked me to my core that I feel quite vulnerable. Tag, you're it.
Well, there was once a time upon story. Yeah, it's a big one because it's such a I guess when you're such a honest person and live with integrity and honesty as in what you say is what you do and all that. When there's people that come full circle on the opposite side at you specifically, it hurts because you're like, why are people like that? It's a hard thing to see and especially to feel on that personal level. And it's not only that, it's like across the world. Like I totally feel you and hear you because I've been through situations like that. And I even some few years back that even it was I remember sitting at New Year's Eve just going, what's the point of this place? Because everyone's so at each other and on and you know trying to hurt each other, or not everyone, but there's certain systems in place that are just not there for humans' growth. And that's, just as same scale of feeling sense of being out of alignment and out of integrity in how we operate as humans. And I think like in your situation, that person is hitting that button, and people tend to do that because they're lacking in some form in their own energy, and they need to get energy from you. There's a great book which sort of sent me off on this trajectory a long time ago when I finished school. Because I enjoyed school so much. It was the first book I actually read after school. It was called The Celestine Prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of it, and it's about like these sacred scrolls. But through the journey of this guy, he's going through looking for these sacred scrolls. He's learning about energy and people and personality types, and so it's an actual active story. It's a really good book. Like, so it's a series of books. By James Redfield, if anyone wants to look for it. But it's part of it was this guy goes to and he's learning how to read people and read energy, and sees their different patterns and how they either take energy or give energy, and in behavioral patterns. And one can be one of anger, one could be being placid, could be the poor me, and getting attention. And then when people are, not to go into the details of that, but the I guess the behind that, the person who's going at someone for some reason feels in their own disempowerment that they have a behavior pattern that's how they get their energy back when they're being disempowered. They target someone who they have put on a pedestal, and they want to bring it back down so then they can feel good about themselves. And at an unconscious level, this is happening just for energy. It's not so much a personal attack, although it does feel like that because it is. But on a deeper level, it's the energy that we feel like we're lacking in our lives to attack someone or to be vulnerable and say, look at me or give me attention. And especially these days with it's not a great deal of connection, but everyone's on the phones and going, give me a like, give me a heart, give me a something, but it's not real. And so they're not getting the energy. So they're trying to do more wilder things. And some things are pretty terrible. I won't go into the detail, but I have to go a bit of a detail. A form of energy, and this is like a really bad situation at the moment with teens, and I guess the social media challenge that they're in, that it's always on, it's always open, and anyone's a keyboard warrior. They can say whatever they want. My niece found out the other night that one of her best friends, and this is a message I got from my sister saying that she took her own life. 13, I think 12 or 13.
God.
And I didn't know the girl, and I obviously feel for my niece and like the energy around it, and I felt terrible about it, like the emotion of sadness that comes through when you think what someone has to be in situation to be at that stage. And then the next day, my sister messaged and saying it didn't actually happen. The girl carried on like it was an attempt, but we didn't go through with it.
Right.
But all over social media, so she could get all this attention. But
right.
Little do they know the effect that it has on the people around them and the people that don't even know them.
Absolutely.
Like my niece was like, she's not well, like because of that. Not because of that, but she's going through her own stuff as well.
Trauma. It's trauma.
It's the trauma. And then my sister being there and trying to look after her daughter, and then the family, and these things that people are doing and saying just so they can get some attention somehow is like, it is a big deal of how unsupportive that is to not only their own energy because it's short-lived, but the long-term effect it has. And as you're saying with your friend, that's probably ruined the friendship forever. To that space where you're like, I didn't need you in my life because if this is what you need or have to do to get energy, then I'm not your energy producer. So it's in fair saying that your energy and your protection is your energy going, I need to block this because she's trying to take stuff from me. And unconsciously, our body and our subconscious wants to protect us at the best level it can. And that's why we have reactions. That's why we have energy shifts in our body. So then we can do or protect or to create something in our world. And it's just bringing it back to the basics of human needs is like we want to be connected. It is in our nature to feel connected. And everybody wants it, if they're, having to go with someone or not. So how do we step into that space? Like we're trying to juggle human nature of protection and then conscious connection of understanding that there is good in people. And then that's why there's that battle between, oh, but I know this stuff and I can do it, I'm working towards it, but then your body's going, no, hell no. Don't come at me like that. I know that's not true. And get out of my way. I'm coming through. And it's natural instincts is where we're talking about the tough conversations, but it's like with ourselves, listening to what the body's telling you.
Oh,
Yeah.
my body's in complete anxiety.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm on the top of a tall building because I'm trying to figure out my way forward.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's,
it.
and also I think, Paul, like everything you said resonated with me. And I feel like as well, there's a piece of, it's like, forgiveness I'm a big fan of. I think just to settle things in your own mind, in your own heart, in your own energy. But I do think as well, there's an element of when things happen like this, like I was actually again this week. So this is the week for me. and I know it's all for my greater good. I get it. But a past friendship was thrown up in my face this week. And I felt sentimental about that friendship. And I thought it's a shame that I ended that friendship. 100% I ended it as lovingly as I possibly could, because I knew that it wasn't a balanced friendship. There was a lot of taking on the other side. There was a lot of giving on my side. It wasn't really appreciated. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not giving from a place of generosity now. I'm starting to give from a place of resentment because I can feel the imbalance, right? Still have love for that person, still cheering them on 100%. But I know energetically, my life is so full. I haven't got the capacity to navigate through those weeds all of the time. I haven't got anything left in the tank, Paul. By the time I've given to my projects, given to my businesses, given to my family, tried to give to myself, I've got nothing left for that. So if there's anything going to come and contaminate my bubble, I'm like, I'm not up for it. But there's definitely, and I've closed relationships down with family members and all sorts because they were toxic for me. And I was like, I can't do that. But there's definitely a mourning period, a grieving, which is such a shame that Marie can't be on the call today, a grieving of what could have been,
Yeah.
what I wanted it to be, what I wanted it to look like, which is like the movies, right? We want the Friends cast as our friendships, and we want the ideal mum and dad, and we want amazing siblings, and we want all of that stuff that we're spoon fed over the years through all this media. And when you don't receive that, it's hard, and you grieve not particularly what it actually was, but you grieve what you wished it had been, and that's tricky.
Mm. And it starts at that state of confusion because again, it's in the level of like it should be this way, but it's happening this way. And this is where we trip up a lot, just in general in life. And especially if people are aiming to build their business, aim for a goal, a relationship. Like there's always like the ideals and the dream and the vision that they inspire towards. Yet sometimes that gets in our way of actually being because we do want things in this specific way, or we don't want to have to deal with the hard stuff. because it's hard and it sucks sometimes. And this is our body. When you're saying in the emotion, in feeling that anxiety, it's like, okay, I've got energy. What do I do with it? And this is, big stuff that I work on is transforming that, because it can debilitate you in such a way that your energy just drops, or you feel like throwing up, or there's so much going on within that space of, so what we'd say is anxiety. The energy of that is our body going, okay, well, what are we focusing on? Where is our focus directly? Is it on, you know, how bad this could be? How bad will this be when I confront this person? And do you really know in the first place? The uncertainty around the future is always there. And so anxiety is generally that fear of the future or the uncertainty of the future. It's just our energy going, getting prepared for anything. And when it's a close person and a huge emotional wrap around the experience, the energy gets heightened because we know we need a lot. But that's also draining if we're in there constantly, daily, morning, night, without. And I guess this is where we look at these conversations we have is like, let's get direct with it. Direct with yourself, for one, and direct with that person if need be. Sometimes just doing the direct and sitting with yourself is enough, because that then, not the word I was thinking detonates, but it doesn't detonate, but it diminishes the energy around that because you sit with it rather than being in it and go, oh, this is painful, painful, painful. It's like, all right, sit with it.
Mm.
Let it be there. Let it show you what the experience is about. And this is where the breath comes in, by doing a big, deep in. And when you breathe out, natural stress relief response happens where you're drawing that energy out. Because generally we feel stress and emotion and anxiety and overwhelm starts in the belly. We can do that
Mm.
hard breath. It's a belly deep exhale. We help shift the energy, and that helps us get clear on the situation. And it's a again, it's not about being in a positive state or negative or anything like that. It's just is what it is. Because we get so caught up in our friends' themes and the movies of positive, 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 and they have a little sad moment every now and then, and someone moves on or someone dies or they have an argument, but then they're friends again. It's all nice. Sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes people come into our life for a period of time for us to learn to grow. And sometimes that challenge is that part of the growth. It doesn't
Mm.
necessarily mean that they'll be in your life forever. I had a mate that I grew up with. We were like best mates for well over 20 years. Best men at each other's weddings and all that. And then the partners had a falling out. So then that just got weird and awkward all the time. And we're trying to catch up. And then it just stopped. And it was one of
Mm.
those moments where I was learning this about friendships coming in and out, because I was in the morning, because he'd been my mate since we were two. We grew up together. We used to climb over each other's fence when we were little and watch cartoons and on the weekends, and but yeah, and it's like being, and again, it's like the hindsight after the event and after the effect, you sit with it and go, okay, well, that was part of my growth, and you can sit with it. But when you're in the thick of it,
Yeah.
just the ease, or trying to be as gentle and easy on yourself in that moment, as hard as that is, the softer you get or can get is then gives you the clarity around the confusion, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So I went through an experience like that just before Christmas and through Christmas with a company I was working with, and it was just the confusion of how I fit into the space, confusion of the zero communication happening from the opposite side, and then me waking up every day in anxiety, not knowing what's happening. And then people coming at me and talking about them, and I'm in the middle.
Mm.
The anxiety was just like that energy was like pulling, ripping, and I was dropping, draining. and I was exhausted before the new year even started because I let
Yeah.
myself sit in that for too long. Until there was a day where I sat and I was like, you've got to give yourself tough love or a tough decision and go, all right, look after myself. This is what I
Yeah.
need. Go do it. And as soon as I did that, the opportunities that shifted from that within an hour of that decision, new opportunity came in, opportunity, took that on board, dropped the other one, cut them out, started the new one. And then it's just a whole new level of owning your own value in those moments.
Mm.
And I think that's the importance of it. And it took me a lot of work to get there. Every morning after I'd done the work at this place, and I'd sit and just breathe on it and work through it and did all the psychologizing and everything. But the moment was just to sit with my value is what I learned from that. And that's in conversations like what you're having. It's like, where is your value being valued or
Mm.
disempowered or uh, regulated from the energy that's coming from the thoughts from having to have that conversation or what comes next. So where can we sit in a space where then in any moment in our lives when those situations come up and it's you have to take time for yourself. As busy as you are, as busy as everyone's doing in life at the moment, you need to take check and listen to the body. It's the only one that's going to give you the right answer.
Mm. Definitely. I think as well, like what came through for me when you were talking there is there's an element of my internal um uncalibration. I don't know if that's a word it is now. Um that I'm kind of annoyed with myself for expecting anything different.
Yeah.
And that's a real self-reflection moment of, I was talking to my daughter about it, and we obviously over the years have watched a lot of children's films, and there's one called the Bee Movie, and you follow the life of this little bee in this animation. And there's one time when he's trying to get out the window, but the window's closed, and he's going, maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time. And I said to my daughter, I feel like that bee. I should have known better. I should have had my guard up. I shouldn't, I was sort of annoyed with myself or being so blindsided with it, well, I just wasn't expecting it. But my daughter said something really lovely, actually. And she said, Mum, everything that you've been through and all of the heartache that you've had and all of the pain and all of the stuff, she said, it's made you who you are. And she said, it's made you into my mum. And she said, you're a really good mum. And I was like, shut up, Sky. Do you know what I mean? But that was kind of nice to go, okay, well, this is molding me. It's molding me in a way that I would prefer not to be molded for sure. But that was a kind of nice reflection to sort of go, Mum, you're in the weeds. Look at the bigger picture. This is who you are. And that was kind of comforting, even though I felt like shocked that it hit me so hard this week, actually. Quite surprised.
Yeah. And that's another part of a reflection within that, as sucky as it is. And it's not to change it or shift it or to stop it. It's the old saying, I think Dwayne Dyer said at one time, it's like from confusion comes clarity. But it's not only that, the confusion and comes clarity. Sometimes the pressure cooker, if you can sit just for a moment, no, and just catch yourself. Let's go, all right, shit's hard right now. And from your experiences, and this for anyone, from experiences you've had in the past, have you got through it?
Mm.
And that's just to have that little memory or remember that you've done it before. And it does pass. Another bumper sticker, this too shall pass.
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't change the situation, but it's how your energy shows up in that situation. So the more you can catch yourself, and sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we have to catch ourselves every second.
Yeah.
Because you get distracted and you get back into it and think about it like, oh, there it is again. But it's like catching, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And
Yeah.
from shifting your energy out of the tension and the restriction and the resistance to go into the fire or the pain or the feeling of the storm, it's about giving yourself space long enough to listen. And sometimes the listen is go and have a nap,
Yeah.
shower, go for a walk. Here's an idea to work on some businesses or creativity. Sometimes that happens.
Mm,
But it's listening and doing the action that the listening or the guidance gives you, your internal guidance. And that's in different forms. Some people see it, visualize it. Some people hear it, just it's almost like hearing your own voice. There's another one which I call the EGS, the emotional guidance system. If you start to feel the emotions shift slightly, then sit with that. And then once you start to feel out of that heaviness and restriction and resistance, then you're working through that and it shifts. Because it doesn't change by having a motivational idea, it changes when you take action. And the action then shifts your state. And then you can get into a better space for thinking. That's a hard one because you're in a state and you're like, screw it all, I don't want to do anything.
yeah. Yeah. And like you said on that New Year's, what is the point? What is
Yeah.
the point? What's going on here? Why would I do this? But I think as well, a message that comes through for me when I'm going through these really hard times is like, this is the whole purpose of the Backyard Peace Project, is to create a really safe, beautiful space to come and be vulnerable, come and have talks, come and be curious, come and try and get to know other people who are like-minded, who are not like-minded, looking for connection. There's so much support in there, so many experts. Like we're launching first week of March, the new platform. It's going to be amazing. And like one of the things that I'm given, like the messages that I'm getting is you can't lead this without knowing pain. Like you can't lead this without knowing heartache. There's no point sitting with a book and going, yes, you've got these symptoms. This is what you're supposed to do. Like you need to be able to say, and that's why I'm so proud of all the ambassadors in the Backyard Peace Project, because we were all talking from lived experience. Like we've got the professional qualifications for sure, but we're also like, I get it. Like I've been in that dark place. I really, really understand where you are right now. I'm going to just hold a light at the end here and help you find your way to the light. But there's no judgment. There's no criticism. There's no, you know, you're safe here because I get it. Like I really, really understand what that feels like.
Mm,
And I think that's so important, not to be talked down to academically, but to say, look, I have the skills to help you. But on a personal note, I really, really understand where you are because I've been there and I get it. And we'll hold space for you while you navigate through this. I think that's really important, particularly now where, integrity is a very important character trait that I look for. Because if you're preaching this, but you're delivering that in your daily behavior, I'm not interested. Like you've got a lot of work to do. You
mm,
need to be walking your talk. You need to be showing up and doing your own work, right? And I think, that sort of time of the guru is over. Like we've just had one of our biggest spiritual gurus come under a very big spotlight as to how spiritual and peace loving he is because of things going on in the world. So they put that person under a spotlight. And it really shakes everybody's foundations to go, well, who's genuine then? Who's actually real? Who could we listen to? Who could we learn from? Who can we follow that isn't living a lie, who isn't living a contradiction? And I think that's really important. Like we don't get it 100% right. We're human beings. We make mistakes for sure, but your intention has to be honesty, integrity, authenticity. Do you know what I mean? Like live by your principles. And I think that's really important. And that's why the experts in the community, why I've chosen them, because I've handpicked every single person in there, is because they're genuine, they walk their talk. And, people who show not to be in that alignment are released with love because we can't be coming to people who are not speaking the truth. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's really important. So one of the gifts of this pain is I get it. Like I get it. I understand the pain. And I know all of us in there have had some kind of pain, and we can like really properly connect people coming to us because we get it at that level.
Did you feel that shift?
Yeah, I know, but it's a pain in the ass being in the chrysalis. Let's face it, it really is.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
But you,
again.
I could see like there was just that moment where it's almost like this light just went like, there you go, you got it. And there's
Mm,
a lightness that then sits in there that makes the situation not easy or effortless or painful, but it's almost like enlightened.
purposeful. It has a purpose,
Yeah.
which gives you hope.
It's like people being stupid, doing stupid things, trying to make other people as stupid as their stupidness. And, and the thick of it. But it's definitely the I think what you're saying there is like I know for myself as well, like to go to someone for help was a hard thing because I remember it used to be because I had been to see someone, a psychologist and doctors to try and help with a mental state challenge I was going through. And I did exactly that. Felt like I got looked down on. And it's like, oh, just suck it up. Or here's a pamphlet or something like that. And it's like, that doesn't work. Or
Yeah.
here's a film. I said, it's not, no. Like it's when I got to talk to people like yourself and connect and be in that like-minded situation, I actually allowed myself space. That space helped me give myself permission to be okay, to be vulnerable and talk, as opposed to feeling like I was alone or guilty because I wasn't perfect
Mm.
and didn't fit into some people's molds. So I totally 100 million%, as you would say, 11th% millions is like what you've created with this platform is that opportunity to lean in a little and feel like it's okay to, even if people just want to come and sit and listen, they don't have to
Mm,
talk, which is even better because you get ideas from other people sharing. And everyone, it's a like storytelling. You go into your own story within that story. So when someone's sharing their life experience, you get to go to your journey, but then maybe learn something from their journey. And so I think the collective, it's not about therapizing anyone. A
mm.
word, therapizing.
Here's now.
We're going into therapy, but it's in going to shared experience and shared growth. That's where the collective expands, and that's where I guess the back end of the peace project is peace comes from within. The peace comes from the
Mm,
understanding that you're not alone and that we're all here together. And we can learn from each other. Because I know
mm.
there's some libraries, maybe over in Europe or somewhere, where people can sit down with people and listen and learn about their life experience. What a great library that is.
Yeah. I think it's called the Human Library, actually. I think it's
Oh,
actually called the Human Library. Yeah.
yeah. Like that's such a great thing, like to hear about people's great experiences, but sometimes we need to know how to navigate the terrible ones too.
And you know what you're saying about that inner peace, which is obviously our philosophy. Like we can't have world peace until we've got inner peace, or as individuals, as families, as communities. But peace isn't somewhere that you arrive. Clearly, do you know what I mean? Like you have to do the work. You have to continually. That must be your intention. And I mean, for me, and I was talking to somebody last night, a client late last night, and I was saying, once you have found moments of like real peace, like you feel connected, you feel like you've arrived, like in the divine, like whatever you want to call it, um, those moments feel amazing, but they're not with you all the time. But then, because you're aware of what calibration and peace feels like, your work and your intention is like, when it's really out of whack, you're like, okay, what is going on here? I need to self-reflect. Like, what do I need to learn here? What do I need? How do I need to grow? And sort of like nothing else will do. Right? It's like you've been in the matrix, you've taken the blue pill or the red pill or whatever it is, and it's like, it's too late. You've taken the pill. Like, you can't stop evolving. You can't
Yeah.
stop. It's almost like not an addiction, but there's, even in the hardest times when I've been on my knees, like crying, going, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing here? Why am I doing this? Why am I choosing this path? Right? I could choose such an easier path. It's unreal. Why do I choose this path with all of these challenges and all of this growth and all of these things? And then you think, but if I gave it all up and chose the easy path, I wouldn't be fulfilled. I'd be bored. There'd be a yearning in me to. So you've got to choose that, that less traveled road, I suppose, because that's the road you're supposed to do, because that's your path, that's your destiny.
Yeah. And that keeps drawing you back. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and it was exactly that. It's like, you can pick a job and you can work at it for 30 years. But there's so many people out there that are doing that and have done that and hate life, hate work, can't wait for the weekends. And then when Monday's coming, oh, here we go again. Groundhog Day, doing that through. That energy in your body consistently is causing a lot of ill health for a lot of people, mentally, physically. But it's the thinking that you can jump out and go, I'm going to start a business and do my own thing and do what I love and passion, and expect it to be all happy and lovely and wonderful all the time as well.
Yeah.
But that is projected in some forms when you do some training.
Yeah.
People project that when they're coaching you or teaching you the skills. They go, "This is the best. Follow your passion. Do this. You'll make all this money." And you're like, "Wow, let's go." Get out there for your first month and go, "I don't know what I'm doing." And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
next month and the next month and the next month, and you've got to build the muscle. Like, it's building muscles in life, building muscles. Like, I think we mentioned it the other week. The best form of personal development is go start a business, because you'll learn where your pressure points are.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, if you're willing to go with it, and this is where that alignment is. If you're just doing a job just for the money, great, you can get a lot of money, but then you'll feel unfulfilled. There's people making millions and billions out there that are sitting there unfulfilled and unpurposeful in life. And yet there's some people that are doing just what they love, with that purpose and the energy that drives them. That's what helps you get through the tough times. When it gets mentally and physically challenging, when you're exhausted, how do you still show up? When you've got a presentation and you've just had the kids screaming at you for 5 seconds, especially now with Zooms and stuff. Like, my business partner and I, we used to joke about it. Like, we'd run a Zoom session, and then we'd finish that. Literally walk out of this is during lockdown. Walk out of the garage from doing the Zoom in the garage meeting room, and then next thing you got kids screaming at you for breakfast. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like we were saving the world at one point, and next we're making sandwiches. Like, it's working
Which
through.
is contributing to saving the world. Yeah. I
Yes.
get notes under my door. My door in my office is there, and I get
Yeah.
notes pushed under my door, or I get pictures of selfies sent to my phone as there, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake. But yeah, I mean, it's super waterfall glamour, obviously.
Yeah.
But now I think, I mean, we're coming up to time, but
That's it.
yeah, cheers, I'm out. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to talk about this stuff. It's vulnerable,
Mm.
and especially when you are in a position of leadership, and you're creating, and it's hard for leaders to be vulnerable. And this is one of the things I'm finding locally is, where do the leaders go to be supported?
Yeah.
They've got to be strong for their teams, they've got to show up, they've got to do all of these things, but where do they go to get that level of support while they're supporting others? And That's really important. And being able to say, you know, these are the things I'm really, really good at. And these are the things that I'm nurturing and nourishing and working on and strengthening. And that's okay. Like, we're all works in progress. And I think that lack of perfectionism sometimes stops people from moving forward because they're scared that people are going to see that they haven't got all of their ducks in a row. I wish I could have, I should have screen recorded it. There was this amazing thing I saw the other day, and there was like, I don't know, 10,000 ducks. It was like ridiculous. And they were all like nuts. They were all going all over the place. I was like, they're my ducks. My ducks aren't in a nice row. They're going nuts. And I was like, oh, I should have screen recorded it, because it just, you know, sometimes it feels like that, but it's okay. Like, we find the answer in the messy bits. We find the growth in the darkness. We find all of that. And it's okay to do that, you know. And I think by having these conversations, and thank you for holding space for me today, I think it hopefully gives other people permission to be okay with the things that aren't okay.
Yeah.
So, another easy conversation for Wednesday. But thank you, Paul, for being here, and thank you for your insights. And it was more like a podcast today, but I think it's a really important conversation to have.
Yeah. I always feel like I've come away from having my very own therapy session. It's great.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Please do comment below if this session touched you in any way or inspired you, or if you can relate to it. We're here every Wednesday, but in March, we're going to be changing the platform onto the Backyard Peace Project platform. So it's going to be slightly different. And we'll be releasing more details of that very soon. Okay, guys. See you soon. Bye.
See ya.